Ready to feel the fire? This full moon in Aries is a supermoon supercharge moment. Relationships are on the line and the cosmic pressure is real. Toxicity is bubbling up to the surface, and if you've been avoiding change, this energy is sparking a massive shift. So if you want to know how to navigate the emotional outbursts that are inevitable at this full moon, grab your birth chart and let's dive in. Welcome back, my Astro family. How do you like today's setup? I had to get into the vibes, into the energy of the full moon in Aries. It is bringing the heat, it's bringing the volatility, it is bringing the intensity, and we got to talk about it today so you can best prepare. It is going to definitely be a wild one. As I was looking at this chart at the beginning of the year, I thought, seriously? Could it get any worse? Could we get a full moon that could bring any more temperamental outbursts with it? So we're going to navigate all of that today. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If it's your first time catching my channel, I consider myself the relational astrologer. So you'll see in my cosmic forecast, we put a heavy emphasis on how to use the tool of astrology to ultimately have better relationships in all areas of your life because you understand the current cosmic weather and you're deepening the relationship you have with yourself. Now, this full moon in Aries is our relationship full moon of the year. Why do I say that? Well, it's because the sun is in the zodiac energy of Libra, which is all about balance and harmony and fairness and peace within partnerships. It is the sun season that I like to reference to as soulmate season. And so the sun is in Libra, and directly opposite in the sky, the moon will be in Aries. Aries is all about the self. So Aries is me, and Libra is all about we. And so it is our relationship moon of the year, finding balance between our own needs and desires, our independence, and wanting and desiring connection and partnership with other people. This full moon in 2024, however, is looking a little gnarly. So if you're new again to my videos, this is how we're breaking it down. The first thing first, we are going to do an overview so you kind of have a general understanding of what is going on. I will then give you my favorite part of the video, which is my top fun facts that makes this full moon in Aries unique to 2024. We will pull up the chart, we'll go into the specifics, and of course, I will give you some activities and rituals that you're definitely going to want to do around this full moon to work with and harmonize and navigate this energy. And then, of course, I will give you your rising sign forecast, and I know everyone loves to skip ahead, but make sure you come back and understand the current energy the cosmic collective is going to experience. That is the way that you're going to have the best relationships in your life, because you don't just know what's going on with you, you know what's going on with everyone else. So you can anticipate it and make sense of the chaos. I am a Western tropical astrologer. You'll notice that is my system over here. I use whole sign when we get to your rising sign. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in the comments below, and we are going to jump right into it. This is a full moon where I am like, I'm not going outside. I'm literally hiding myself in my house. I do not want to be out there in the world as this is all going down. Now, I'm definitely not going to try to fearmonger at all in this video. I'm going to give it to you so straight. As a Scorpio ruled person, I'm not afraid to go there. I'm not afraid to say it, because ultimately this is what it is. What I want you to remember, no matter if you watch my video or anyone else's video, the astrology does not dictate what happens. It explains what could be happening and when it happens, why it's happening, and it helps us make sense of the chaos. It helps us understand what's going on. Okay, so it's not because of what we're talking about today that is going to cause something. It's a reflection of what is already programmed to happen, okay, in the timeline of Earth. So that's just a remembrance. Also, like, do not take this full moon lightly. There is a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of heat. Like, there is some very challenging and uncomfortable and, frankly, in my opinion, scary things happening with this energy. It's going to be in our best interest. It is going to come out on the other side looking very beautiful, but sometimes you have to create a lot of rubble and a lot of damage to have something to rebuild on. Okay, so it's like pummeling something to the ground and then saying, ooh, fresh new dirt to build something on. Like, that's kind of the vibe here. But it's emotionally triggered. It's emotionally fueled, as Mars is in Cancer. So I'm not sure how, that's all going to play out. Astrology does not predict the future. We can make a lot of guesses. That's not what we're going to do in today's video, but I just wanted to bring that up as we start out. So with that, let's get into it. Now, as I'm referencing different things in this video, remember that full moons can be felt for 3 days before up to 3 days after. So if I'm saying that something is happening in the collective around the time of this full moon, or something in your rising sign forecast reading might be happening, it may happen before the moon even becomes full, or it may happen a couple days after. That's the way the energy works. It's orbs of influence. So not everyone is going to experience a full moon at the exact same time. So before we get into the overview, let's give you the basics so you know when this energy might be at peak illumination. It is happening on October 17th at 7:26 a.m. On the night of the 16th to the 17th, as that sun is rising and the moon is setting, it will set almost at its exact full moment. And it's happening at 24 degrees of Aries. So you want to look to the Aries area of your birth chart. And this is the area of life that you hopefully have been giving a lot of attention to. I say that because the North Node has been here since last summer. And the North Node is your North Star of the moment. The focus and energy of your life should be in the area of your chart where the North Node is. And so it's been in Aries since last summer. We've been stepping into our main character energy. We've been prioritizing our needs, wants, and desires in that area of our life. And now we have this full moon that comes along, a peak illumination. So we'll dive more into that in your rising sign forecast. But as we get into the overview, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the chart because the chart kind of speaks for itself. As we look at it, we see all the lines. We see so much going on. It is a full intense moment over here. And the biggest thing that I noticed when I pulled up the chart is that we have a grand cross going on from the sun to the moon, the sun and the moon in a square to Mars, who is opposite Pluto. So we bring in the scorpionic vibes because Pluto and Mars rule Scorpio. So we bring the intensity and the depth of Scorpio to this full moon in Aries. Now, Mars, who is the planet that rules the full moon in Aries, also rules Scorpio. And so there is just a lot of Martian energy going on here. Mars is the warrior, the fighter, the one who will demand things. I think of him sometimes as the toddler under 7, just really cutting and slicing and dicing his way through life and getting anything that he wants. So we bring the heat, the intensity of Aries, the passion, the drive of Mars, the warrior and the aggressor energy. And then you have Pluto who wants to jump in and just blow it all up. So it is going to be totally volatile and totally temperamental. Of course, we have a lot of other energy going on at the exact same time. So we'll break that all down when we get into the specifics. But the overview, let's talk about relationships at this time. This has been such a pivotal moment for all relationships in our life. Coming out of that new moon solar eclipse in Libra, at 10 degrees of Libra, the sun has now journeyed from 10 degrees to 24 degrees, still in Libra sun season. We've been asked to reflect on all the relationships in our life and determine how they make us feel. Are they valuable to us? Do these people prioritize us as much as we prioritize them? This has been a time of cleaning up our backyards and cleaning up the relationships in our life that do not serve us. There has never been a more important time to have a tight-knit tribe around you, people that you know will protect you, that will fight for you, that help you in times of need, that comfort you, not people that disrupt your peace, not people that want to take from you, not people that don't value your opinion or give you space. This is such a huge time in the collective right now. We can see from this full moon that there is going to be some outbursts. There is going to be some craziness that is going on externally in the world, especially with Mars and Pluto going opposite in the sky 3 times over the next couple months. There is massive chaos going on externally that our tribes need to be tight. I talk so much about this in the eclipse new moon video, but this full moon is going to highlight and illuminate the emotions brewing under the surface that we've been stewing on for quite some time in our relationships. So I see this being a moment where in our relationships, we've been stuffing things down. We haven't had tough conversations. And now at this time, it is all coming out. I see this in relationships playing out. Like, you have a partner that is cool with everything. They're really chill. They're kind of just like, yeah, whatever you want to do. And then one day they just lose their ish and they freak the hell out and they tell you everything that's been on their mind. And you're like, there is no recovery from this. Like, I had no idea you felt this way the entire time. Emotional outbursts are going to be on the forefront. Expect this in business partnerships, expect it with clients, expect it with your siblings, expect it with your best friends. Like, I don't care. Any relationships in your life have the potential for volatility right now. The disruption, the moment where the energy needs to be reset, the equilibrium needs to come back as people in relationships are realizing that if they don't express their needs, their wants, their boundaries, they're not going to get what they need out of the relationship. Both people are being fake if they're not having those authentic conversations. So sometimes you have to have that breakdown for the breakthrough, right? It's very Uranian energy, but this full moon is really calling you to figure out what relationships you're passionate about, the ones that make you feel good, that allow you to be yourself, to be your unique individual being, and who are the people that are trying to morph you into something you're not. And I see a lot of backlash. I see a lot of frustration. See a lot of friction. I see a lot of irritation. I see a lot of things bubbling up to the surface in relationships because Pluto is going to be bringing in that energy to relationships. And he likes to kind of work his magic under the surface. But that toxicity is starting to bubble up. Mars is going in with a scalpel and digging out and saying, hey, we're unearthing all of this. It might look super messy, but we're going to have to face it all. And Mars is in Cancer. So there's this emotional component to our relationships right now, a desire to fight for the things that we need to feel comfortable in a relationship, to feel secure in a relationship. It's hot, it's aggressive, it's volatile. Like, there's so many things. So my biggest message to you is you're going to want to pay attention around this full moon, even a little bit before the full moon. Where is the infection starting to brew? Where is the heat starting to rise? Where is the toxicity stemming from in your relationships? Because that is going to bubble up. That is going to fester. That is going to get full hot, full red, full force in your face to be processed, to be moved out. Okay. When we deal with the Cancer energy, it is emotions, and Aries is the fire. So this is like the energy of steam rising, right? Something gets so hot, it starts to boil and then it turns into steam. That is the alchemical reaction going on at this full moon. Emotions are bubbling up. They're getting hot and heavy. They reach the boiling point. They start steaming and spewing all over the place. And afterwards, everything gets to cool off again. Now, Mars is going to take over from this point forward for a little while, as he has a lot to do in the sky and he's gearing up for his retrograde. So where Mars is at the time of this full moon, he's going to come right back to this point when we get to the end of February. So we're circling back to what's coming up here in Mars's retrograde. Let's move on from all of that and just remember this Aries energy, where the moon is going to be full. Remember, the moon highlights, the moon illuminates things, and it is in the energy of Aries. Aries is the toddler under 7. So if you want to understand Aries energy, the lens, the vibe, the perspective that the moon is going to be shining upon us, think of a toddler under 7. They are brave and bold. They will run across the street and get their ball, even if a car is coming. They don't care. They will climb to the top of a jungle gym, no fear, even though it's way taller than them. They will demand what they want. They will kick and scream for a candy bar in the checkout line, right? They will do whatever they need for their own self goals, their self-preservation. This is the energy that we've hopefully been tapping into for our own selves, as the North Node has been in Aries for quite some time. And that is what we're going to be feeling at this time. That's what brings that heat, that volatility. It is the first zodiac sign. It goes first with no fear. So lots of that kind of coming up at this time. So let me give you my 3 fun facts really quick that makes this full moon in Aries unique to 2024. And then we will pull up the chart, break down the specifics, get your own birth chart as we are going to navigate where all the planets are, see if they're hitting anything in your chart and how this full moon might be impacting you personally. So my top fun facts, I got 3 of them for you today. I hope you enjoy them. The first fun fact that makes the full moon in Aries unique to 2024 is the fact that it is a supermoon. Now, we have 4 supermoons in a row at this time of year. However, the one in October, the full moon in Aries, is the supermoon of the year, where it is truly closest to us here on Earth. So we're going to have the highest tides. We call it king tide. We're going to have the most effect on our physical body from the full moon because it is the closest to us here on Earth. And of course, that does not help the fact that it already is a super volatile, super intense full moon. The second fun fact is that this full moon in Aries is the culmination of what began at the new moon in Aries on April 8th. And if you remember, on April 8th, it was the new moon total solar eclipse. You can't forget that day. I know you remember it. What was going on in your life at that time? What was being eclipsed in your life, eclipsed out of your life? What was coming up for you to pay attention to as the North Node has been in Aries? And remember, it was conjunct Chiron. It was smack dab on top of Chiron. And so there were some wounds coming up, some pain points that needed healing, some ouchy things happening in your life. And now here we are 6 months later. We've made it thus far into the astrological year with the full moon in Aries saying, where have we gotten? Have we been focusing on ourselves? Have we been cleaning up our own backyard? How much work have we been putting into ourselves and prioritizing our wants, needs, and desires? And what have we healed that came up or was eclipsed in or out of our life at that time? So this is the culmination point. And then the third fun fact about this full moon is we never had a full moon in Aries eclipse in the entire Aries Libra eclipse cycle. Did you know that? Last year, the nodes entered into Aries and Libra in the middle of the summer. And then last year, when we could have had a full moon in Aries as an eclipse, when the North Node was officially in Aries, it was actually a full moon in Taurus, an out of sign eclipse. And now here we are, and it's also not an eclipse, even though the North Node is in Aries. They're just too far apart in the sky for it to be an eclipse. And next year, the North Node will be far out of Aries and already way into Pisces. So there was never a full moon lunar eclipse in Aries this entire cycle. So what does that mean? Well, that energetically tells us that we have control to determine what we're releasing, what we're changing, what we're going to do different in our life after the volatility, after the heat has ruptured, after the pain point has been illuminated. We get to choose. This is free will all day, every day. The North Node isn't coming in to course correct us here. This is something we have to see and experience for ourselves and make a decision from our human perspective. So big, powerful energy. And I kind of like that as a Mars ruled person. But if you're not a Mars ruled person, this energy could be kind of confusing. So we'll break that all down now in the specifics. So grab your birth chart. I'm pulling up the chart here. We're going to go through it all one by one to help you make way more sense of this energy. So the first thing we always do when we pull up the chart at a newer full moon is we're going to find the sun and the moon. Sun, of course, at 24 degrees of Libra, almost done with Libra sun season, just a couple more days to go, and the moon directly opposite in Aries. Now we see here the North and the South Node are still in Aries and Libra, like I just mentioned, but they're at 6 degrees, far enough away that doesn't make it an eclipse. Now, the thing we notice about the moon is surrounded by and affected by all the challenging planets in the sky. Mars is an energy that brings war and heat and aggression and change. The masculine energy, the fighter within all of us. Square the moon. Pluto, god of the underworld, willing to transform, go deep, bomb things, take things out, right? Pluto, square the moon. So the moon is hella uncomfortable at this moment. And the moon is usually feminine and nurturing and in flow. And it's like, no. We got to do big things right now. And next to the moon, we have the North Node, which is also a challenging energy, right? It's a portal of energy taking us forward. Saturn is in Pisces, super close to the moon. And so the moon is being squished and pushed by all these planets that are wanting to create change. That's why this full moon is going to feel so pivotal, like massive changes on the horizon. Now, we can also see here that the moon is very close to Chiron. Remember how I mentioned in the fun facts part, we mentioned that the new moon in Aries, the solar eclipse we had on April 8th, was smack dab conjunct on Chiron at 19 degrees. 6 months ago, it was the sun, the moon, and Chiron all at 19 degrees of Aries. Now the moon is at 24 degrees and Chiron has moved to 21 degrees. So at the time of this full moon, Chiron is still participating. He is still active. Chiron is retrograde in Aries and has been saying, hey, we got to go back. We got to heal these wounds of childhood, Aries, these masculine toxic tendencies, Aries, aggression and frustration, all of these anger issues that people have been having. We got to heal them. This Chiron is helping us heal a lot of this. Now, the full moon is going to highlight and illuminate the work we haven't done, the lashing out, the aggression, the anger that we have within our soul that has to come out, that has to be burned out like steam, the masculine toxic traits that we have of doing and going and fighting instead of allowing and receiving, Libra, the Venusian energy. These are all things that we've been learning to dance and flow through. And so there might be some physical pain, some physical wounds that come up. Remember at the new moon in Aries, I talked so much about how people might be noticing in their body a lot more inflammation, a lot more tenderness, a lot more irritation. That is so prominent at this full moon. So honor your physical body at this time, because there might be people who have a lot of infections, arthritis, inflammation, autoimmune issues, like all these things really starting to flare up. Because again, this full moon is closest to us on Earth. It is a supermoon, the closest supermoon of the year. So it is going to bring the heat into the body. So pay attention to that energy. Okay, so moving on from there, we then have to look at the primary life coach, the ruler of this full moon. Who rules the full moon in Aries? I mentioned it before. It is Mars. We can see Mars in the zodiac energy of Cancer, and he is at 22 degrees of Cancer. So almost in an exact square to the sun and in an exact square to the moon. So around the time of this full moon, we just came off of the sun square Mars exact. And so now we're kind of repeating this energy. We've been feeling it already for the last couple days, and this heats it up again. This brings the volatility of Mars saying we have to do something, we have to make change, we have to make a decision. So around the full moon, what I see for the collective is that people are standing up and fighting for things that matter. They are fighting for their families with Mars and Cancer. They're fighting for the things that matter to them. They're fighting for their traditions as Cancer rules the past and nostalgia. They're fighting for their countries, their homes, their home state, their home cities, their actual physical homes. This is the warrior activating himself and saying, these things matter to me and I'm willing to go down fighting for them. And the sun square Mars heats it up. It makes us make a decision. It illuminates what we have to see, the decisions we have to make, the changes we have to enact. And we're doing it from this Aries energy of a toddler under 7 and throwing a tantrum and getting fired up and heated up. This is so crazy energy. And then you want to add a fuel to that fire, you throw Pluto in that mix. Mars opposite Pluto. Doesn't go exact until November 4th, November 3rd, November 4th, which is kind of crazy, right at the election time. And Pluto's in his final moments, 29 degrees, the anaretic degree of Capricorn, his final moments to break down, destroy, and crumble the structures of Capricorn. The authoritarian, the leaders, the people who have been doing things behind the scenes, Pluto, behind the scenes, under the earth, and it coming up to light. Remember, Mars is digging. Mars loves to dig. He's the scalpel, right? He's the knife. He's going to cut things. And Pluto is everything that's been going on below the surface. So Pluto's unearthing things. Mars is digging them up. We could see at this time secrets revealed. We could see things with leaders, coming out, people getting angry, people fighting. It's crazy. Pluto is that energy of like combustion, right? Like Mars says, hey, let's go beat someone up. And Pluto says, why just beat them up? Let's annihilate them. Let's take them out, make sure they're never going to be a problem again. He's going to take it to the extremes. He's going to take that warlike energy to the extremes. And I don't necessarily think this is going to be like on a countrywide scale, but more so like on a personal scale. If someone comes to attack you, they're not coming to attack you because they're mad. They're attacking you because they literally want to sever or cut the relationship with you. And they're going to give you the piece of their mind, and they're going to tell you everything they never said, and you're going to be like totally taken aback, right? Like you get knocked out by what you didn't see coming, right? Like that is the vibe here. And so Pluto's coming in and is like, I'm not just going to like tell you what I think. I'm not just going to emotionally react. I'm going to literally rage on you. And this is what can break relationships for good, right? It's like, I'm not going to let you talk to me that way. I'm not going to stand for this. And then all of a sudden it's like, I can never trust them again. I can never be in partnership with them again. I never want to be around them again. Like it is that intense energy that we're going to see with this moon. And of course, because Chiron's involved, it's like we're trying to heal wounds. Why keep exposing ourselves to things that cause us pain? Why keep putting ourselves in situations that don't make us Mars in Cancer feel safe and comfortable and nourished? Sun in Libra, peaceful and harmonious. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Aries, I take responsibility for what I want my life to look like. So it's empowering. Pluto loves to bring surges of power, but sometimes that comes at a breaking point moment. Now, with Mars in Cancer and the moon in Aries, Mars and the moon are in what we call mutual reception. Mars is in the moon's home sign, Cancer, and the moon is in Mars's home sign of Aries. So they have to follow each other's rules. And we know that Mars has been dancing through the moon sign since September. And so we've been under this Mars energy, how our energy, our chi, our stamina, right? Mars is our energy levels and what drives us and how we're motivated, what we're motivated by. That has all been dictated by the moon. Every 2 to 3 days, that has been changing, and it's something we're getting used to. And we talk so much about that in the astrology channel. I did a whole education day on it. That might be really beneficial for you to go watch. You can get a free 7-day subscription and check it out, as all of the education is archived in our pin posts. But I deep dive in this 20-minute workshop on how you're going to feel as the moon moves around the zodiac into all 12 signs, influencing how Mars, our energy, is going to be impacted. And so at the time of this full moon, because they're in mutual reception, Mars is how we act, the moon is how we feel. So we are going to be fueled at this full moon like a toddler, Aries, to throw tantrums because of how we're feeling. And it's like we can't express how we're feeling. We don't know how we're feeling. We just know we're angry. We just know we're mad. We just know we need or want something. And we're going to kick and scream and fight and lash out and yell until someone puts us in a timeout. And we might be the one that has to put someone that we're in a relationship with in a timeout. Put them in the corner until they can calm down, cool down, and have a civil conversation. But that's going to be long after this full moon is over, because the energy is going to be potent for a while. So the moon and Mars are in mutual reception. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about this energy is that because Mars rules our chi and our stamina, this is where we're really going to feel and notice and recognize that we're going to be fueled up. We're going to be driven. We're going to be heated up in so many ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically. There is going to be a lot of energy boiling up to the surface. So pay attention to that. Chiron is here to help us heal and to move forward. And of course, the last thing I just want to point out at this time is that we see that Venus, who rules the sun, because she's the ruler of Libra, is at 29 degrees of Scorpio at this time. So even Venus, who could be helping us make life beautiful, make it pleasurable, is at this anoretic degree of Scorpio under the influence of Mars and Pluto, because Mars and Pluto rule Scorpio. So even Venus, who's like, hey, well, all this is going to be for the best, right? We're going to make it beautiful. We're going to make it pleasurable. And Mars and Pluto ruling her right now are saying, yeah, but we have to destroy it. We have to annihilate it. We have to take it out. We have to make massive change and massive decisions and massive differences in our lives. And it's going to affect our relationships. But yes, you're right. Then it will get more beautiful and pleasurable. But we got to go deep. We got to go under the surface. We have to confront the things that are scaring us, having those tough conversations. And of course, to add into this Scorpio energy of Mars and Pluto fighting in the sky, and them also influencing Venus, they're also influencing Mercury. So this is the part where we are lashing out. We're using our words. We're fighting because Mercury is in Scorpio. And Mercury, our mind, is digging deep. We're investigating. We're playing detective. Mercury in Scorpio is like, oh, I know there's more here. This is conspiracy theory 101. Mercury will not stop until he uncovers and unearths all information. And so this information could be leading to this emotional trigger, this emotional reaction that is turning into someone lashing out or speaking up or speaking their truth. So there is definitely the words, the communication aspect, the news coming out, because Mars and Scorpio are in a fight and they're both influencing Mercury to get to the bottom of it or to talk about it or to investigate it. So we're going to add that to all of this. And then immediately after this moon is exactly full, Venus goes, okay, well then I'm out of here and I'm going to Sagittarius. And I love this for our relationships because now we get excited again in our relationships. So you might sever, cut, release, let go, full moon, a relationship at this time. And then it's going to feel so beautiful because Venus in Sagittarius is about feeling free, feeling liberated, feeling independent, feeling optimistic. It's like our relationships now have all these endless possibilities. Venus in Sagittarius is like the gypsy, right? Exploring, trying new things, being adventurous, like doing the most in a way that is like free. And so our relationships are going to have this blessing right after the volatility is over. So have hope, have faith. All of this is happening for a reason. The story is not finished. If someone is yelling at you, if you decide to cut a relationship out of your life, if something comes to light, unearthed, revealed in some way, the fight is so massive that it ends and severs something, it's going to be okay because Venus in Sagittarius for the next couple of weeks is going to make everything feel absolutely amazing. So saving grace right there. Thank you, Venus, for that. So with all that, just know you're not going to take it lightly. This is very explosive, very unpredictable, very volatile, very hot. So we have some activities and rituals that you can do around this time to work with this energy, to move through it in a way that feels good. And the first one is going to be doing some sort of meditation or breath work. You want to calm and soothe your own emotions. You don't want to add fuel to the fire. You don't want to be reactive. You don't want to be defensive. Mars in Cancer is a defensive, reactionary energy. And so we want to, with our breath, with our mind, cool our own fire, put ourselves in a timeout so we don't make things worse, okay? Everyone could do that. I think we would all navigate this full moon really easily, but I don't think that's going to happen. So you got to do your part. The second activity that could help you move through this heated, volatile energy is to move your body. Blow off steam. Let that energy come out in movement. Emotions are just energy in motion. So put those emotions in motion. And the third thing that you can do to best serve you around this energy, and I mentioned that this is what I'm doing, is I'm going to retreat. Mars in Cancer. Put your energy inward, retract into your shell, stay home, cuddle up on the couch, like put yourself on time out before someone else has to. So just stay home and journal and do something nourishing, something that fills your cup up. Give your energy to that Mars in Cancer feeling where you just feel comfortable. Cook yourself a delicious meal, get a comfy blanket out, and just do something that makes you feel super good. Do some self-care. So that sums it all up. I hope you get a good overview of what is in store. Again, I don't want to get too predictive. I don't want to get too doomsday with it all, but I think you get the vibes. I think you can read between the lines. I'd love to say it's going to get better by the time this full moon is over, but it's just getting started. This is kind of the spark as Mars is going to oppose Pluto and have that huge argument with him come early November, and then Mars will go retrograde, and we're going to circle back to all of this at least once, if not twice, after the retrograde is over. But we will talk so much more about that in the Mars retrograde video. So make sure you subscribe and check that out. If you love my style of astrology and you want to learn more about how to use the tool of astrology to have better relationships in all areas of your life, stick around. My podcast is launching where it's not about any type of astro weather and transits. It's literally all deep diving into how to have the best relationships in your life using the tool of astrology. So stick around, subscribe, leave me any feedback, and now head into your rising sign forecast. My Aries risings, you know that this full moon is impacting you the most because you are ruled by Mars, and your primary life coach Mars is hella active at this time, squaring the sun, squaring the moon, fighting with Pluto. And you know all about this being a Martian masculine ruled person. So we will deep dive into it. Grab your birth chart. I'll pull the chart up here. This full moon is obviously your relationship moon of the year, as the moon is in your first house of yourself. The sun has been in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So lots to talk about for you. Let's go ahead and dive in. Of course, this is going to be a huge moon for you, my Aries risings, with it highlighting and illuminating your first house. So this is going to be all about you, what you want, what you desire, how you want to show up in the world. There's some sort of letting go at this time. Of course, the North Node has been here as well for a year and a half. So there is some fated changes. There brings some destiny here of new beginnings and new chapters, something you've been working on for 18 months already. And so now at this full moon, this is going to be a time for you to shed and release an old identity, an old version of yourself, something that you've been trying to get rid of, something you've been trying to remove from your life. Maybe it's a way that someone has been seeing you. Maybe it's a relationship and you're going from, in a relationship to single, changing your status, changing your career. Huge, huge full moon for you, because we can see here as well that Mars, your primary life coach, is in an argument with Pluto, creating this grand cross energy. Look at this. Your first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house, all impacted at this time with massive planets, sun and moon, full moon, Mars, Pluto. What does this mean? What are these implications? Well, remember, these houses, first, fourth, seventh, and 10th, are your anchor houses, your identity, your relationship, where you live, and your career, things that matter to us on Earth School. So one of these areas of life could be snowballing into the other areas. So for example, you decide to quit your job, Pluto, a job you've had for 15 years since Pluto entered, long time ago. And now you leave that career. Well, that's going to affect maybe where you live, because now you have to move somewhere else for a different job, or you have to downsize your home. And that maybe affects your relationship or who you're in partnership with. Maybe you lose your clients. Maybe you change who you're doing business with. Maybe it changes, your relationship in some way. And then therefore it changes how you dress, how you appear, and how you're showing up to the world. One can affect the other, especially at this full moon. This full moon is going to bring a lot of volatility as well into your life. A lot of emotions are going to be coming up. The channeled message I keep getting for you, Aries Risings, is that you're not typically an emotional person, or at least not on the surface. You might feel feelings underneath, but it always comes out as like anger, irritation, volatility. It's hard for you to say, hey, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling upset, right? It's hard to identify the actual feeling because you're so busy expressing or being busy and being on the go that you don't want to feel your feelings. This full moon may be the time where you have to release some blocks to this masculine tendency, the toxic masculine energy of thinking you have to be strong all the time. Aries Risings, the message is really dig deep into why you're feeling what you're feeling right now. Your primary life coach, Mars, is in the moon's home sign of Cancer. And the moon is in Mars's home sign, your first house. So this is a very emotionally triggering, emotionally volatile time for you. But instead of your typical way of just trying to be busy and exert your energy and, be upset and yelling and angry and heated, it's time to go back down to why you're feeling what you're feeling. And that could be, of course, coming up because look at all these massive areas of your life needing a change. There's a lot going on here at this full moon that you're needing to release and let go of in your life once and for all, because trust me, when we get to 2025, you are having a rebirth. You are going to have a brand new identity out of all the rising signs. Like next year, holy moly, we're going to have Saturn and Neptune showing up in your first house. We're also going to have a Saturn, a Neptune, a Venus, and a Mercury retrograde, all from your first house back to your 12th house, from your 12th house back into your first house. So 4 major planets, and then the North Node, the 5th massive celestial body crossing over your ascendant energy. Such an important shift, a huge year for you coming up. So definitely get your reading for the upcoming year. You're going to want to know what times a year and when to prepare for this. But this full moon is going to be that moment where it's like make it or break it. Changes are happening. Decisions are needing to be made at this time. Mars is going to be in your 4th house of home and family. So make sure you focus your energy on nourishing yourself, finding a safe space at home, being around people that feel like family, like exert your energy, your Mars, into your home life, and it will help make decisions in all other areas and get deep down into your emotions, why you're feeling, what you're feeling, all of those things. Learn to process your emotions. And of course, Venus, as soon as this full moon is over, is going to be your saving grace, as she is going to make your mindset, your perspective, your view on all of this more beautiful. She will be going into your 9th house, giving you a higher conscious perspective, helping you to explore and be more spontaneous and try new things and be willing to get out of your comfort zone. So thank gosh for that, as so much is going to be changing. You're going to have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable for a minute, as we're going to go from this full moon to the new moon in Aries in 6 months, which is the final eclipse in your first house. So this is a chapter of switching gears and changing things up, and it may be coming up with a lot of deep-rooted change necessary.
honor your emotions at this time, my Aries risings.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Taurus risings, we are going to do a deep dive here as your primary life coach is at 29 degrees of Scorpio, the anaretic degree. She is having a big, massive shift into Sagittarius as soon as this full moon is exact and we are fading out of this energy. So it is exciting for you. You're going to feel this shift the most. And of course, we know that this full moon is highlighting and illuminating your 12th house. So it's the house of karma, the house of endings, a lot of things shifting for you, my Taurus rising. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Pull up the chart, grab your birth chart. Let's get into it.
My Taurus risings, we have a lot to discuss for this full moon for you. We, of course, can see it as Libra sun season ruled by Venus. So Venus is your primary life coach. We'll be circling back to her in just a moment. But Libra sun season for you every single year is an opportunity to have the sun highlighting and shining a spotlight on, allowing you to give your energy, your light to your health, your wellness, your vitality, your day-to-day habits, improving your work life, all the things that keep you well. You should be focusing your light and energy on during Libra sun season. We have one more week of this to go. But we see here right now, we have the full moon illuminating your 12th house. This is an uncomfortable area of life because it's everything hidden. Everything below the surface might be coming to light right now with the full moon illuminating in the dark, showing you where hopefully the North Node, you've been focusing your energy here for the last 18 months and what still needs some work, what needs some highlighting. And the 12th house, is your mental health, your emotional health, your energetic health. These are things that are going on below the surface at all times that you may not pay attention to. Right now, you're going to have to pay attention to it, Taurus risings, because Mars and Pluto in your mental health house, the lower conscious mind, Mars in the 3rd, your higher conscious mind, Pluto in the 9th, is squaring the sun and the moon, creating this grand cross energy. Super important for you. The channeled message I keep getting for you, and I'm going to say it in many different ways, Taurus risings, is that there is a perspective shift that needs to be happening here. You are so focused as a Venus-ruled person to make your life beautiful and pleasurable, to bring safety, to acquire assets and resources, like to have all those nice, wonderful things. But right now, this full moon in Aries is saying, hold on a second. The thoughts are what creates the things. And then the things become your reality. So we have to go back down to the roots of the thoughts. I would say this is the most perfect time for you to get into some sort of morning meditation practice where you're listening to like abundance meditations, mantras, money mindset stuff. There is some changes here that have to be made on that mental level, the belief systems, the subconscious level, as this is all being activated by this grand cross. There is this work that needs to be done from a higher conscious perspective. Might be great for you as well to do some learning around like other religions and philosophies, whether it's like Taoism or Buddhism or any kind of other perspective, some cultural shifts. Something mentally has to be zoomed out for you to see it in a different way. Recommitting to your faith, maybe recommitting to prayer, recommitting to journaling. Like there's a mental thing that has to happen here, and that's going to help your health and wellness as well. Now, I do want to point out that your primary life coach under this full moon is going to be opposite Uranus from your 7th house of relationships to your 1st house of yourself and your identity. So there's been a change going on within you. Now, at this full moon, with the heat and the volatility of a full moon in Aries, there might be some contentious conversations in your relationships. There might be some discussions that have to be had in your relationships. There is this deep-seated, unrooted thing that is brewing and stewing and maybe coming up to the surface at this time. So a fight comes up, a change comes up from your partner's side, like something is coming up unexpectedly in your relationships. And your goal in all of this, Taurus Risings, is to go back to the mindset. Where are you limiting yourself? Where are you holding yourself back? Where do you need to be in a higher conscious state to see where your partner is coming from? Now, this could be business, this could be clients, this could be marriage. Now, the beautiful thing about all of this is as soon as this volatility comes up at the full moon and you're having to face your mindset, Venus, your primary life coach for the next 8 weeks, is going to go into your 8th house. So she's going to help beautify this uncomfortable financial area of your life, your debts, your loans, your taxes, your inheritances, money that you're having to share with your partner. And there's going to get this opportunity for beautification there. So you have to do the mental work right now. You have to change your mindset right now in order to change your reality. That is what I keep hearing for you, my Taurus risings at this time. And of course, remembering that in the upcoming year, there's going to be some massive shifts and changes that are coming up to help you focus more on your 12th house, your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, as many planets are going to be activating this area of your chart. It's time for you to clear and release so many old versions of you, so many old identities that you've held on to or beliefs that you've held on to. So there's shifts in store. So definitely pay attention to that. It's brewing and stewing right now. It will come to light even more clearly at the new moon in Aries in your 12th house as an eclipse in March. So we can talk way more about that in a one-on-one reading. I definitely highly recommend towards the end of this year and early next year, you have a good understanding of what's in store for next year, as it's a big year for all of us, especially for you Taurus risings.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Gemini risings, we are going to be breaking this all down here as your primary life coach, Mercury, is in the zodiac energy of Scorpio, diving deep, digging up, investigating things, lots to talk about. The moon is highlighting and illuminating your 11th house. So we are looking at friendships as being the contentious point, fights and arguments, and people that you know within your tribe, within your community, but it may shake up and jostle the future and the goals and the aspirations that you have. Lots to talk about at this time. So you grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull the chart up here and let's get into it.
Gemini risings, we see here that the sun has been in your 5th house. I love this for you every single year when it's Libra sun season. The sun is going to highlight and illuminate your area of fun, of joy, of creativity, of pleasure, of romance, of children. The 5th house is my favorite house, obviously. And with the sun here, hopefully you've been focusing your light, your energy on going to concerts or starting a dance class or working on creative projects or spending time with your children. Like hopefully during this Libra season, you've been tapping into this. We have one more week to go, but in the middle of this energy, of course, we have to deal with the full moon in Aries, highlighting and illuminating some intensity. The full moon is volatile AF. We can see it here in the chart as it is squaring this Mars and Pluto energy, creating this grand cross, which brings decisions and changes that need to be made at this time. The moon is going to highlight and force you to see your friendship group, your tribe, tribe, your community? Who are you surrounding yourself with? It has been 6 months since the sun was here, since we had that eclipse in Aries on April 8th, which maybe eclipsed in or out some friendships, some people in your life. And now we're having to review and take a little inventory on the people that we are currently surrounding ourselves with. So who have you met in the last 6 months? Who have you connected with? And are these people that make you feel good? Do they bring pleasure into your life? Are they people that have similar hobbies and similar dreams and similar passions? This is going to be very important. It may be coming up at this time, and it may come with fights and arguments, because look at this square energy to Mars and Pluto in your financial sector. You are hopefully, with Mars here now in your second house for a long time, all the way until April of next year, exerting your energy and putting your effort into your income, your possessions, acquiring assets and resources, a second stream of income, possibly budgeting your money. Mars is teaching you a lot of lessons here. And as you are maybe shifting some of this financial stuff in your life, that is causing you, square to your friendship group, your 11th house, to say no to friends, to say no to social activities, to, prioritize different things in your budget than going out and spending money on concerts and, games and things like that. So something is shifting here. Maybe you're having to find a different way to have fun where you're not spending as much money. That could be coming up at this time. Also, maybe you are surrounding yourself with people that have poor money mindset, poor money behaviors, and it's affecting you financially. And so you're needing to release and let go of some of those friendships or those people in your life that don't allow you to grow and expand when it comes to your money. Now, Pluto's going to be in his final moments in your 8th house as well. He's out of retrograde at this full moon. So there is some sort of transformation that may be happening or necessary when it comes to like a debt or loan or something you took on long time ago, as Pluto has been here for 15 years. Maybe there is some wills or things that you need to do with your finances that has been a long time coming and you haven't taken the Mars effort or action on. And now is the time you need to go handle your finances. So at this full moon, this might be a time where you have to do some uncomfortable financial things, and you might have to say no to fun and no to friends, and that might just shift and change. Now, how we're going to go about this is your primary life coach, Mercury, is always giving you messages. He's always teaching you and saying, hey, pay attention. And your mind right now is in your 6th house. So hopefully you've been thinking about, learning about, communicating about, educating yourself about your health, your wellness, your day-to-day habits, your supplements, talking to healthcare professionals, how to improve your health, getting your blood work done, as Mercury has been moving through this area of your chart, and the sun will show up here very shortly. So it's going to come down to, as all these changes are coming up, and these decisions are being made at this time, that you're focusing on your health and wellness. It's going to be super important. Now, Venus, right after this full moon, is going to be moving into your 7th house of partnerships, collaborations, beautifying the people that you are in partnership with. So who you're saying no to at this time might allow you to have space to spend more effort and energy with people that really get you, that you do want to form these bonds with. And that could help and benefit you financially as well. So that's kind of the bigger story. Obviously, there's so much more going on at this time. So that's where a personal reading comes in to see how you can best navigate it. But hopefully this was a good overview and reminder that your primary life coach as well is going to be going retrograde in the upcoming months. So I would highly recommend that you do a 2025 astro forecast reading, of course, but even towards the end of this year, to make sure you really understand where this Mercury Jupiter opposition retrograde energy is coming up. I highlighted that a little bit in the Jupiter retrograde video for you. So go back and watch that if you haven't, but definitely some shifts in store coming up for you, my Gemini risings. And again, your channeled message is just to remember that who you surround yourself with is going to help you create the changes and bring the blessings into your life financially. So it's all about who you know, but also what they think and how they act is going to affect you more than ever.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Cancer risings, you're ruled by the moon, of course, and you've been having Mars in your first house. So this full moon is a grand cross in your anchor houses. So holy moly, this is going to affect you so wildly. We're going to spend a little extra time on your rising sign because you have the sun and moon in your 10th and 4th house of home and family. You've got Mars in your first house helping you transform yourself and have a complete identity shift. Pluto has been rocking and rolling in your relationship sector for 15 years, and it all comes to a head right now, and you're ruled by the moon, and this is a full moon. So you grab your birth chart. I'm pulling up the chart here. Let's get into it.
As we look at your chart here, we see the sun has been in your 4th house of home and family. I love this for you. Libra sun season every single year is a time where you should shine your energy and your spotlight on your home, your family, gathering together, nourishing and nurturing yourself as the sun is illuminating this area of your life. But now we have that full moon in Aries. So the full moon is going to illuminate your career area of life. This has been a huge area for you for the last 18 months. Some fated and destined changes, opportunities, new doors opening possibly in maybe industries, getting a promotion. Like there's been some career stuff going on here for you. And now this full moon is highlighting and saying, hey, do we like this? Or do we need to release and let go? There is some sort of course correction, some sort of epiphany that might be coming up around your career right now. Now, remember, 6 months ago at the new moon in Aries is when we had that solar eclipse. So maybe you were eclipsing something in or out of your life at that time around your career. Maybe that's when you got a promotion. Maybe that's when you started a new job. Maybe that's when you had an opportunity to go back to school and begin a new industry. Like there's something here that is coming to light from 6 months ago, and it's affecting your home and family. We still have some closure here. The South Node is in its final moments in your 4th house of home and family. This chapter is not over yet. There is still some rearranging that is necessary where you live and in your career. And at this time, at the full moon in Aries, we can see here that there's this grand cross energy, this square to the moon, square to the sun from Mars and Pluto. And that is an energy of change, of transformation, right? Mars wants you to make a decision and Pluto wants to blow things up or transform things, crumble them down. And this is in your relationship area of life. Super important for you, Cancer risings. As a relational astrologer, when I see this grand cross going on, I'm like, oof, one thing could lead to another at this time. So let's break it down. The intuitive message I keep hearing, and I'm going to circle back to this in a moment, is trust your gut. Okay, we'll circle back in a second. But the reason I say that is when we have this grand cross, let's say, for example, your 7th house of relationship, you've been in a relationship, Pluto's been here for 15 years. So it's been a long relationship. And you're saying, you know what, I'm trusting my gut. It's not working out anymore. That therefore changes your career because now you got to go back to work or you have to get a promotion or something changes because of this relationship change. And therefore that changes your identity of going from in a relationship to single and how you dress because now you got to dress professionally. And then therefore it changes where you have to live because you just went through a breakup. Or it could start in the home and family, that you have to renovate your home or move home in some way. When you move home, you have to change your career. When you change your career, your partner has to pick up the slack. So it changes the dynamic in your relationship, or it changes the clients that you're working with, seventh house of relationships. And therefore, it changes your identity, the way in which people have to see you. So there's a lot of shifts and a lot of changes going on in the major anchor areas of your life. The first, fourth, seventh, and 10th house are the most important areas of our life. So much going on for you, Cancer risings. And Mars is in your first house, changing you, rebirthing you, forcing you to focus your energy on who you are, what you want, what you desire. It's time for you to put you first. And might be a lot of emotions coming up at this time, very emotionally triggering, emotionally heightened. You're used to that being a Cancer risings, but I want you to focus on what these emotions and what these feelings are telling you to do, as they are your guiding compass. Trust your gut. That I cannot even emphasize that enough, Cancer risings. Trust your gut. Now, what's beautiful about this energy is that the fifth house is where Venus has been beautifying your life. And hopefully, you've been spending your energy recently on creating something, a passion project of some sort, paying attention to your children, doing things that nourish your inner child. But as soon as this full moon is done and over, and these decisions are coming up and changes needing to happen, you then have Venus going into your sixth house, beautifying and bringing pleasure to your health, your wellness, your day-to-day habits. So these changes that are being made ultimately can bring more wellness and vitality into your life. And they might be uncomfortable, but it's going to work itself out, and it might make your home life better. It might make your day to day better, because you don't have to go to an office, or maybe you don't have to live with someone who's like not good for your health. Like, there is a lot more to this story that I could really even, deep dive into. But of course, looking at your chart would make it way more personal. So hopefully this was helpful at least. Remember too that in the upcoming year, there's a lot going on in your 10th house of your career, with Neptune and Saturn entering your 10th house. And we also have Neptune, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury retrograding from your 10th house to your 9th house, the North Node leaving your 10th house with one final eclipse. Like, there's a lot going on for you in 2025. So make sure you know when that's happening, how that's happening, getting your personalized reading. You're definitely going to want to understand this energy. And of course, Mars is going to be in your first house all the way till April and May. So financial stuff coming up for you as well next year. I'd love to be able to break all that down with you, but just keep all of that in mind, that what's happening now is bringing in massive change that will lead to a whole new energy in 2025.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly, as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Leo risings, you are ruled by the sun, and the sun has been highlighting and illuminating your third house of Libra, bringing light to your thoughts, to the messages you want to share. This is your season to learn and speak and educate and communicate. And of course, we have the moon that is going to be highlighted and illuminated in your ninth house. So this is a very perspective shifting, mental changes type of lunation for you. And it's definitely going to impact your relationships. And of course, you're going to have Mars here that is going to help you take action. You are fired up. You feel the fire. You love the fire. You are Leo rising after all. So a lot that we're going to talk about here. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here. Let's get into it.
Let's break it all down with starting with the sun in your third house. The sun highlights, illuminates, and shines a spotlight on recently during Libra sun season, your mind. So hopefully you've been learning, connecting, communicating, sharing, maybe starting a blog, writing a book. Like hopefully there's been a lot of connection and collaboration and getting together with people at this time. And now we have the full moon in Aries showing up, hopefully allowing you to release and let go of some old information, some old perspectives, some old mindset stuff that isn't serving you anymore. This is an extremely mental full moon for you. We see that Mars is in your 12th house of your subconscious, your limiting beliefs, your mindset, your mental health, all of those things. Pluto's in your 6th house of your physical health, your day-to-day habits, your overall well-being. The moon is highlighting and illuminating your 9th house. This is your perspective, your view on the world, your beliefs, that higher conscious mind that you've gained, information you've gathered from living life and the experiences that you've went through. And the sun is saying, hey, let's look at what we believe to be true, the data and facts, the information we've been given. Let's learn some things right now. Let's read a book. Let's listen to a podcast. Now, we see this as a grand cross energy. So one affects the other. And the biggest thing I can tell you, Leo Risings, the channeled message that keeps coming through when I look at your chart is to remember that you have to go down into the root system of what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, who taught you to think that, and how do you need to course correct it at this point? How do you need to zoom up and out into a higher perspective? How do you need to change the way you look at things so the way you look at things changes? Like, your reality can be completely different if you want to think different thoughts. But you have to learn how to do that, right? The sun in the 3rd house is learning it. So maybe it's finding a mentor. Maybe it's going to talk to a therapist. Maybe it's starting to listen to podcasts on mental health or belief systems. Maybe you start learning a Buddhist religion or Taoist religion and see how they viewed the world. There's some big things going on here for you mentally at this time. Now, the moon 6 months ago was an eclipse in Aries in your 9th house. So maybe at that time you were able to zoom out and go on a trip, travel in the last 6 months, see the world from a different angle. Maybe you've been wanting to check something off your bucket list. This full moon might illuminate some possibilities to do that, some shifts that you need to make in order to go out there and expand and explore and, make your wings fly. Like there's something you need to go see and do. Now, Mars is going to be in your 12th house for 5 months. So there's a lot here for you to learn, to exert your energy into your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. Maybe it's going back into prayer or meditation, going back to church. Like there's some things and decisions that need to be made around these hidden spaces in your life, clearing some karma out of your life as well. Now, also you are ruled by the sun. So keep in mind that when we get to Scorpio sun season, the sun is going to move into your 4th house of home and family. So exert your energy, your light, your sun into creating a nourishing and safe space within your home, a sanctuary within your home. Taking time for self-care is going to be huge because whatever is coming up for you mentally right now, catch yourself. Catch yourself. Don't let yourself spiral and go down mental rabbit holes. Learn how to stay high vibrational. The North Node is in your 9th house. You are meant to explore and expand, to see things from a higher perspective. But you're going to be challenged right now in that. So Venus is going to be moving into your 5th house as soon as this full moon is over. This is your saving grace. When Venus moves into the 5th house for the next 4 weeks, you are supposed to be focusing on making your life more beautiful and pleasurable, attracting in things. Venus helps you attract things in when you focus in on the 5th house. Pleasure, creativity, joy, romance, entertainment, hobbies, your children, your own inner child, business and entrepreneurship, going on dates with your partner or getting back out in the dating scene. It's going to be a great opportunity in the upcoming 4 months for that energy. But there's mental blocks and things that are coming up, illuminating, being highlighted. It might feel volatile. It might feel extremely emotional. Pay attention and go back down to the thoughts. It'll be so important for you, Leo Risings. And of course, remember that in the upcoming year, there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes that are going to be necessary that are going to help you get out of your comfort zone. So learning to spread your wings and understanding that it all really begins now is going to be super important to look at the upcoming year.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Virgo risings, this full moon is activating your financial areas of life. So there is a lot that might be coming up to light. There might be a lot of arguments or changes in your relationships that leads to financial shifts. Mercury, your primary life coach, is in Scorpio. So we are having deep conversations, maybe around money, around taboo topics. You are digging, you are investigating. You might be in your relationships trying to get to the bottom of things right now, as your primary life coach is in that scorpionic deep water of emotions and feelings. And you are thinking a lot at this time. So there's a lot to talk about for you, Virgo risings. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here. Let's get into it.
Virgo risings, as we start out this reading, we are going to first highlight the fact that the sun has been in your second house of money income. It has been a season for you with Libra sun season and that solar eclipse all around your money. So hopefully you've been shedding some light on your budget, your income, your material possessions, what you value, what you hold dear, and how you need to maybe make more money or change the way in which you make money. Now that's still going to be happening for a week after this full moon happens, but we have to take a stop, a pause, and look up in the night sky at the moon, where it's going to be illuminating the other financial area of your life, and that is money that ties you to other people. So we might have to release and let go of at this time the way in which we are sharing money, relying on other people for money, or planning for our future with our money. This moon is all about looking at debts, loans, taxes, inheritances, wills, your partner's money, how you rely on people for money, how people can benefit you financially. And so this full moon, because it's in Aries, it's heated, it's volatile, there might be some emotions, as Mars is in the moon's home side of Cancer, emotions coming up at this time around money, around your finances, around your resources. There's a lot of volatility here. Mars and Pluto are squaring your financial houses. Mars says we have to do something differently, and Pluto says we have to transform something in a big way. So there is a lot of financial stuff coming up for you right now, Virgo risings. Now, Mars is going to be in your 11th house of community and tribe for an extended amount of time. So you may need to exert your energy, your masculine, your chi into your future, your 11th house, or into your community and the people you're choosing to surround yourself with in order to improve your financial areas of life, to see your financial area of life grow and prosper. Now, the North Node is in your 8th house until January, and we're going to have one final eclipse around your money. The story is not done yet. This is just like a check-in point. This is an area where we have to make decisions. This grand cross energy is saying we have to make changes. Squares force us to make new changes in our life. So maybe you're needing to surround yourself with people who have financial goals like you, that have money that you aspire to have, that have a different mindset on reality that allows you to grow. Maybe these people can benefit you financially in some way. But also there's a transformation that needs to be had at this time with Pluto in its final moments in your 5th house around what brings you pleasure. Spending time doing things you're passionate about, spending time with your children. These are things that might be coming up as well that are affecting you financially. Maybe you need to invest your money in, things for your children, like college or a new car or something like that. And so there's changes here. or you need to focus in on a creative passion project that could bring you a second stream of income, that could help you pay off a debt. And therefore, surround yourself with people that have the similar passion or have already created the thing you want to create. When we have a grand cross like this, one of these areas of life affect and influence the other. It's like a flow, it's like a box. And each one has a part in the story. You are in the center of that circle. Where Venus is on that chart in the middle, you are in the middle of this. So you're in the crosshairs of all of it, needing to make different decisions and transform and change things in your life that are going to affect you financially in a big way. But how do we make these changes is for you, Virgo risings, based on your primary life coach, Mercury. What is Mercury up to? Because Mercury is teaching you the lessons of how to move through this, how to move forward. In your mind, Mercury is in the third house. What haven't you learned yet? What do you need to speak, express, and communicate? What do you need to share with the world? Where do you need to humble yourself and ask more questions? Mercury is in your mental house right now. So do we need to pick up a book from the library on finances? Do we need to listen to podcasts that can help benefit us and help us pay off a debt, a loan, a taxes that we have to get done? Do we need to ask questions? Do we need to gather in community and tribe and connect and communicate and socialize? Do I need to travel somewhere to pay someone back, or someone needs to pay me back? Like, there is this mercurial energy in your third house necessary to move forward at the changes that are coming up at this time. And luckily, Venus is right after this full moon and these changes are coming up, moving into your fourth house of home and family. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be super beneficial because now Venus is going to help beautify your home, help attract and magnetize opportunities into your family life. So we can definitely see that coming in the upcoming months. But the channeled message I keep hearing for you over and over again is really doing some inventory around the people you surround yourself with and ask yourself if that is benefiting or hurting your future goals, dreams, and wishes. With Mars here for an extended amount of time and Pluto in this opposite energy of like pleasure, it's like, are these people going to get me to where I want to go, or are they holding me back? Are they anchoring me? And where is this transformation necessary, and who I'm choosing to surround myself with? And nourishing yourself and bringing more joy into your life is going to be key at this time. And of course, in the upcoming year, I mean, this story is just beginning. I mean, everything has many moving parts to it. So I want you to remember that. We're going to have one more eclipse in your eighth house. So there is still going to be some sort of new opportunity for someone to come into your life and benefit you financially, share their assets and resources with you, and inheritance and unexpected money. Like, there is still some financial stuff that needs to be played out here. So just know we're still like many pages to go to finish off this story. And of course, your eighth house is going to have a visitation from Saturn and Neptune next year. You're going to have Saturn, Neptune, Venus, and Mercury all retrograding from your eighth house back to your seventh house. Next year has so many wild transits going on, and we're just kind of ramping up for that at this time. So there's a lot to discuss now that will impact you in 2025. Definitely make sure you know how to work with it, the times of year to pay attention to. All of that you can get in a one-on-one reading. But hopefully this gives you a good overview, a good perspective to start with.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back. My Libra risings, holy moly, this is a relationship full moon for you if there ever was one. This is going to impact you so much because this grand cross that's happening is activating your anchor charts, the most important sections of your birth chart. You have the sun in your first house, highlighting and illuminating who you are, the glow up you're trying to happen in your life. And the moon is highlighting and illuminating in your relationship sector. And then you have Mars and Pluto in your career and your home life. All of these are being triggered and activated. Things are being brought to light right now. Secrets revealed, conversations had, decisions to be made. Like, this is a pivotal moment for you to switch things up in a major way, Libra risings. And you're ruled by Venus, who is at 29 degrees of Scorpio. Dig in deep, having massive transformation in relationships, shifting and changing things in a big way. And Venus has been in your financial sector. So this might be impacting you financially, and you might be finding a way to make your life more beautiful and pleasurable again in a completely different way when this full moon is over. And also because my last new moon video in Libra got all wonky in the downloading process, and I know you didn't get a full forecast, we're going to spend a little extra time today talking about all of it. So you grab your birth chart, I'll pull up the chart here. Let's get into it.
Libra risings, I'm still going to be giving you extra attention in this reading for my apology of the last new moon video where we had a little tech glitch going on. Interesting enough, when I recorded that video, there was a tech glitch because I was recording it in the middle of Hurricane Helene, and I live in Tampa, Florida, so there was just a lot of crazy vortex energy, and I am recording this one during Hurricane Milton as I've evacuated. So get into it, Libra risings. The first thing we know is that the sun is highlighting and illuminating your first house. So during Libra sun season every single year, it is like your personal birth chart's astrological year, the new beginning, the new fresh start, as the sun is infusing and highlighting and bringing new fresh energy to you. Who you are, what you want, what you desire, your appearance. It allows you to focus in on yourself, to be extremely selfish right now. And we have one more week of this Libra sun season energy, so take advantage of it. It is what you're supposed to be doing every single year during this season. And then in the middle of it, we have this full moon in Aries, which highlights and illuminates the relationships in your life. So this is a huge relationship focus energy for you, as the moon is saying, hey, come look at this area of life because the sun hasn't been here in 6 months. And now we need to do some reflecting, seeing what we're not normally paying attention to. And the North Node has been here for 18 months. So in the last 18 months, maybe you've expanded your relationships, expanded your partnerships. There's been some new opportunities to collaborate with people to deepen your commitments or friendships in some way or another. So there's been a lot of relationship newness going on. And this full moons are about releasing and letting go, are saying, hey, where do we need to shed some light? Where do we need to release some energy that's been stuck and stagnant? Now, I do have to say, Libra risings, the full moon in Aries is heated, it is volatile, it is intense, it is aggressive. This may be bringing up a lot of feelings, a lot of anger and tension in partnerships. So I want you to be very cautious and careful at this time. I know you love balance. I know you love peace. You are ruled by Venus, so you want things to be beautiful. But this might be an energy that you are not used to, and you might be more passive aggressive than normal, and you also might be a little bit more temperamental in the area of your life with all people that you are in partnership with. So be cautious and careful at this time. Of course, we also see that Mars and Pluto are both squaring the sun and the moon, creating this grand cross energy. Very important for you to understand, Libra risings, because as we have this grand cross in your anchor houses, 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th are the most important areas of your chart. Me, we, home, family, career. Huge areas of our life, and they're all impacted. When we have this grand cross, one impacts another. And with these square energies, it's creating change. It's forcing you to make decisions. So let me give you an example. Maybe you change careers. You decide, I'm going to put my effort and energy, my Mars, into a different profession. I'm quitting this job. I'm going to apply somewhere else. It therefore spirals and impacts your relationship, because now your partner has to help support you, or maybe you lose clients, or maybe your business partner and you break up, right? Full moon, release, let go. Therefore, it then impacts where you can live. You know, you got to downsize your home, you got to renovate your home, you got to move somewhere away so you can get a new job. And therefore, that impacts you, your dreams, your wants, your desires, how you want to be seen in the world. You don't want to be seen as someone who works in that industry anymore. So one can all lead to another, and it could start really in any one of these 4 quadrants, but this is huge and it's a time for change. Now, how do we make these changes and how do we move forward? You look at your primary life coach, which is Venus. Where is Venus at this time? She's going to give you a clue of how we're going to move through these decisions. Venus in your second house is finances, money. So maybe you've been making your budget more beautiful and pleasurable by cutting things out. Maybe you've acquired an asset or resource in some way with Venus here. And now you're saying, now I have the money that I need to make this decision and change all these other areas of my life. Or maybe now I feel more abundant and I've been attracting and magnetizing a second stream of income or a raise, or I know I'm worth more, right? Your valuables, your value, your self-worth has gone up in some way. And that's causing you to make a decision in one of these 4 anchor areas of your life. Immediately following this full moon, your primary life coach is moving into your 3rd house. So that is going to be so beautiful and so beneficial to communication, technology, social media, getting on social media, sharing yourself on social media. You'll be found very attractive, sharing your mind, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge. There's lots of opportunities for that. Also, opportunities to create a healthier, happier mindset and belief systems mentally. So there is some expansion and exploration that is going to be possible with your mind because of these decisions. Now, don't forget, this doesn't come easy. It doesn't come lightly. There might be a lot of hostility, a lot of fights, a lot of arguments, especially in relationships with Mars squaring the moon. The moon in Mars's home sign of Cancer or of Aries, Mars and the moon's home sign of Cancer. Like, this can bring a lot of tension, but you're going to move through it and it's going to make your life more beautiful and pleasurable, because ultimately, Libra Rising, that is your goal. And maybe where you've lived has been for a long time, with Pluto being in your 4th house for 15 years. And it's time to transform, to release, to let go in these final moments of Pluto in your 4th house before he moves into your 5th house. So lots of massive changes. Of course, we can totally customize and personalize this in a one-on-one reading, but hopefully this gives you a really big overview. Also, don't forget that next year we have Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune all moving into your 7th house of relationships and then retrograding from your 7th house back to your 6th house. So lots of relationship shifts and changes. I know this is such an important area of our life, especially being a relational astrologer. It's one of the things I talk to almost every client on in a one-on-one session is about their relationships in some way. It's going to be a very relationship dense, relationship heavy energy for you in 2025. So I highly suggest you start preparing for that now in one-on-one readings and just knowing what's to come, because it's a lot of newness and it's going to help you rebirth yourself. And it's going to give you a lot of opportunities at certain times to work with that energy to deepen partnerships and help them benefit all the other areas of your life. So just a heads up on all of that. The channeled message I keep getting for you too, my Libra risings, is to remember to focus in on what you don't know yet. There's a lot of learning potential here. And sometimes it just takes one podcast, one book, one conversation, one piece of information that could be the piece of information that could change your life. Yeah, that came in so deep. So I hope that resonates. I hope you feel that. Let me know in the comments if that happens to you, because that came in really strong. So good luck, my Libra risings.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly, as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. Scorpio risings, buckle up. Are you ready? This is the full moon of the year that is going to trigger some massive transformation in your life, but nothing you can't handle because your primary life coach is Mars and Pluto. You're used to this energy. You can go deep. You can feel the surge of power. You can use it in your favor. You can feel the heat of life and not be afraid to invest it in things that you're passionate about. So lots of shifts though, however, coming up at this full moon in Aries. Aries rules your sixth house. So this is your health and wellness moon of the year. This might bring some changes and triggers into your day-to-day life, into your work life, into your routines that need changing. The North Node has been here for a while. So hopefully you've been working on healing your physical body. This might highlight and illuminate some things that have been brewing and stewing under the surface. So be careful with inflammation. And of course, because Mars has been transiting through your ninth house, there's some perspective shifts, some mental things that need to change around the time of this full moon. So much to talk about for you, my Scorpio rising. I know in my last video, the new moon solar eclipse, the download got a little wonky and jacked up, so you didn't get a full forecast. We're going to spend a little extra time today on your reading. So you grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull out the chart here. Let's get into it.
I'm still going to be giving you extra attention in this reading for my apology of the last new moon video where we had a little tech glitch going on. Interesting enough, when I recorded that video, there was a tech glitch because I was recording it in the middle of Hurricane Helene, and I live in Tampa, Florida, so there was just a lot of crazy vortex energy, and I am recording this one during Hurricane Milton as I've evacuated. So as we do a deep dive into this full moon, we just have to say this is one for the books for you. This is going to bring massive changes and shifts into your life as your two primary life coaches, Mars and Pluto, are both squaring the sun, squaring the moon, creating this grand cross energy. Holy moly, lots to talk about. When we look at the sun in Libra sun season has been in your 12th house. Every year during Libra sun season, this could be the sun shining, highlighting, creating a spotlight on your karmic house. Areas of your life that need to cleanse, shed, purge, release, let go. People from the past coming back, dreams being very potent, your mental health needing a check, your spiritual health needing strengthening, your emotional body needing cleansing and clearing, like Scorpio risings. Every time we get to Libra sun season, this is your release and let go, because we're about to go into Scorpio sun season in 6 days from this full moon. And then you are going to have your astrological new year energy with the sun highlighting you, what you want, what you desire. Venus is there right now. So you've been very magnetic. You've been hopefully beautifying your life in some way. But the sun getting there in just a few short days is going to be a rebirthing energy. And right before that rebirth, there needs to be a cleanse and a purge. That's what's happening at this full moon in Aries. Pluto wants you to transform, release, and let go of old mindset shifts or of old mindset thoughts, of old data and information you've collected and how it no longer applies to your reality. The information you have, the way in which you think, the way in which you speak and communicate, the way in which you share information is old news. Pluto is going to transform that once and for all, because what you think isn't creating the life that you want. Mars, your primary life coach, is saying, hey, we got to make changes to our faith, our perspective, our belief systems. Mars is going to be here for 5 months, helping you make new thought patterns so that we can have a new reality. Now, the moon highlighting and illuminating your 6th house of health and wellness. So ultimately, all of this energy is going to show up at that full moon in Aries around the thoughts that we're thinking, the beliefs that we're carrying, what we're listening to, what we're speaking into existence is impacting your physical health. The moon highlighting the 6th house is saying we got to look at our day-to-day habits. We got to look at our day-to-day life. Do we like it? Do we not? What needs to be cleared, released, let go out of our daily life that is affecting us more than we know? So Scorpio risings, looking at how do things and situations make you feel? Do they bring more vitality and wellness into your life? Or are they dragging you down? Are they anchoring you down? Looking at your supplements, looking at your work-life balance, your sleep schedule, people that you surround yourself with on a day-to-day basis. How is this impacting you? Now, the North Node has been in your 6th house, and we're in the final few months of this energy. So hopefully your eyes have been on the prize. You've been getting your doctor's appointments in. You've been getting your fitness in. You've been changing your day-to-day habits to nourish and nurture yourself in some way. But this full moon is going to illuminate the thoughts and how they're affecting all of that. So pay attention to that at this time. Now, the beautiful thing that we have going on here as well is that there's an opportunity for you to get out of your comfort zone and to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I say that because Mars, your primary life coach in the ninth house, wants to explore, wants to check things off your bucket list, wants to do things in a different way that's never been done before, and not being scared of the outcome. So this is really, really good. But it doesn't change the fact that some major decisions need to be made. Some karma needs to be cleared at this time. There might be a lot of tension and change that comes up from the decisions that you're making. So honor it. You're ruled by Mars and Pluto, so you're not afraid to transform. You're not afraid to blow your whole life up and start over again. That might be something that might be coming up at this time, but you can handle it. You're meant to go through this. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that Venus in your first house is in an opposition to Uranus at this time in your relationship sector. Now, Uranus has been blowing up your relationships, bringing shocking surprises, sudden upsets, disruption into who you've been friends with, who you've been in partnership with, the type of clients you've worked with, all these people you're attaching your energy to. Uranus has been rocking and rolling and totally shaking that up. This full moon, which is volatile and heated and requiring you to make major shifts in your life, is also impacting your relationships, and most importantly, the relationship you have to yourself. Putting yourself first, prioritizing your needs and wants is going to make you feel more worthy, is going to improve your beauty. It's going to magnetize people to you, but that might be shocking and unexpected to people that you're in partnership with. There is a glow up about to happen when the sun hits Scorpio season for you, with your primary life coaches, Mars and Pluto, changing your mindset and changing the way you show up and speak and express out into the world. But that might ruffle some feathers that people you connect with, that you are in partnership with. So prepare for that, allow for that. It's okay. It could be very good. It could also be a little, disruptive. But you're here to glow up and shine in the next couple of weeks. So I'm so here for it, Scorpio Risings. Let me know. Keep in touch, especially when we get to the new moon in Scorpio. We can talk way more about that. The other thing to remember is that in the upcoming year, in 6 months from now, with the new moon in Aries, you're going to have one final eclipse. And that final eclipse in your sixth house is going to bring new fated and destined opportunities into your day-to-day. That could be a new work opportunity. That could be your physical health. There could be some expansion around your physical health or people that help you improve your physical health. You want to do the work in your health house, because when Saturn enters next year in May, Saturn is going to be blessing you, good karma, or punishing you, bad karma, depending on the work you're doing now in your sixth house. So a lot more to talk about in an upcoming reading. If we do a one-on-one reading for 2025, you're going to want to know how your health house is impacted with 4 planets, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, and Venus, all retrograding in that area of your chart, the lessons you're meant to be learning, and where that starts right here, right now at this full moon in Aries. So let me know if you want to dive more into that. The channeled message that keeps coming up for you right now is to lean into change. Allow it all to crumble so you can build new. You do so good at this. This full moon in Aries may be forcing it upon you, but if you can take a hold of it and you can make the decisions that are in your best interest, it might disrupt your world, but it is going to lead to the most beautiful new beginning in 2025.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly, as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Sagittarius risings, you are about to have Venus enter into your first house as soon as this full moon is over. So, no matter what is coming up and being illuminated, what itchy heat inflammation is coming to the surface right now, you have Venus showing up in your first house, which is going to make you magnetic, which is going to attract people to you. We love when Venus transits our first house, so something to look forward to. But let's talk about that full moon. That full moon is going to highlight and illuminate your fifth house. So, this is an opportune time where you might see arguments with your children, changes that need to be made in business or entrepreneurial journeys. Time to have some fun. This is going to illuminate where in your life you've been neglecting some of those things. Lots to talk about. Your primary life coach is now retrograde, so things aren't feeling as abundant or optimistic as they normally would, but we're going to navigate all of it. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here and let's get into it.
Let's start right out with looking at the sun being in your 11th house. I love this energy for you, my Sagittarius risings, because every year during Libra sun season, the sun is highlighting and illuminating your dreams, your wishes, your hopes, your future. A great time for you to be doing some vision boarding, but most importantly, connecting with your tribe, socializing, getting out with friends. This has hopefully been a very social, friendship-oriented season for you, connecting with friends, having friendship dates, like things like that. It's been so good for you. But we do now have this point where the full moon in Aries is showing up in your fifth house, your fun house, highlighting and illuminating what needs to be released. What are the blocks to you enjoying your life? Where are you holding yourself back from having fun and pleasure and joy and romance and creativity? This is the time where maybe you need to course correct and release and let go of your children. Maybe they're going to college soon. They're moving out with a significant other. Like, where do you need to kind of pull back a little bit? That might be something that might be coming up at the full moon as well. Also, remembering the North Node is here. It's been here in your fifth house for almost 18 months. We're in the home stretch of this. So hopefully your eyes have been on the prize and been letting you tap into your inner child, being present in the moment, starting a passion project, something you've wanted to do for a really long time. Also, this could be a time where you're needing to incorporate more hobbies into your life, doing things that you love to do, that this world is more than just making money and climbing a corporate ladder. That's about having some fun and finding the people that you can have fun with. It's a huge channeled message I keep getting for you, Sagittarius risings, especially now that your primary life coach, Jupiter, is retrograde in your seventh house of partnerships. So you're not going to meet new people. This isn't a time for you to expand your clients or find a new business partner or get out there in the world and make more friends. Like, you got to work with what you got. You got to deepen and strengthen the relationships you already have and go have some fun with the people you're having in your life on a day-to-day basis. Super important energy. Now let's circle back for a second and notice that Mars and Pluto are squaring the sun and squaring the moon. This is creating that grand cross energy, which brings massive disruption and change into your life. Pluto wants to destroy, Mars wants to make new decisions. And this is around friendships. This is around your future, your goals, your dreams, what you aspire to have in your upcoming, near days. And also changes that are necessary in your life so that you can have more fun, time for fun, what brings you joy. Super huge energy. And this is a financial thing because Pluto has been in your second house of income for 15 years. You might be changing the way in which you make income, changing the way in which you acquire assets and resources. Some sort of possession, material item you've had for quite some time, you might be selling and getting rid of, and then investing that money into something like a stock market. You could be paying off a debt or loan right now or trying to find money to pay someone back, Mars in your eighth house. And therefore, that could be affecting the money or finances you have available to go do fun things. This could also be a time with the moon here bringing up your children, highlighting your children, that maybe you're needing to spend your money on your college, your children's college fund or a new vehicle for them. There's some sort of financial thing coming up too around your children. Making sure right now at this full moon that you are locked tight on inheritances and wills and things like that for your children is going to be super important as well. But this full moon comes with some volatility, some heat, some intensity because change is necessary. When we have a grand cross like this, one of these areas of our life affect the rest. It's like a snowball. So maybe it is you change your goal and your dream for your future. And because of this new dream or goal or wish or desire you have, you change your income. You change the way in which you make money. You sell an asset, which then therefore you take that money and you invest it, or someone invests in you. And then therefore you now either have more or less money to have fun. Do you see how this can all play out? And it can all begin in one of these areas of life and tumble into the rest. In 6 months from now, we're going to have one final eclipse in the Aries area of your chart, in your 5th house of fun and joy. And if you're an entrepreneur, this is your 5th house as well. So, creating an entrepreneurial journey, or maybe you are working on a passion project, something that you started 6 months ago at the new moon in Aries on April 8th. Maybe you started something and you're ready to release it out into the world, and that could benefit you financially. So all of this can be going on. Now, remember, your primary life coach, Jupiter, is retrograde. So we don't go do new things at this time. We do not expand. We work with what we've been given, what we've been blessed with. So pay attention to that. Also, I just want to wrap it up too with saying that Venus is moving from your 12th house as soon as this full moon is over and into your 1st house. Love, love, love this energy, because Venus in our 1st house happens about once a year for a few weeks at a time, and it magnetizes and attracts people to us. Venus is the feminine energy, so she brings in flow and abundance and goodness and beauty and pleasure. And when this is in the 1st house, that is to us, ourselves, our vessel, our vehicle, our body. People are seeing us more beautiful. People are attracted and curious with us. We're able to adjust our appearance and be more favored. So I love this energy. This is going to be going on when Mars and Pluto are having their exact opposition in your financial area of life. So you have the power, Sagittarius Risings, to put yourself first, beautify yourself, value yourself, prioritize yourself, and the rest will all work itself out. That's a huge channeled message I keep getting. So making sure you're waking up in the morning, getting dressed, making yourself beautiful and presentable, getting to the gym, improving your physical well-being, all these things could actually be affecting your financial areas of life as well. So pay attention to all of that. Remember too that in December, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde in your 1st house and a Jupiter retrograde, your primary life coach, in Gemini in your 7th house. So this is going to be very interesting and shifting tough conversations and partnerships as we end the year. Go back and listen to my Jupiter retrograde video. I talk a little bit more about that, but my whole point right here, right now, is to understand that next year, there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes coming to your life, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're single and you're trying to date again, especially if you're trying to launch some sort of creative project that you've been wanting to do for quite some time, as Saturn and Neptune are entering your 5th house. And along with Saturn, Neptune, Mercury and Venus are all going to retrograde in your 5th house. So they're all going to spend an extra amount of time next year in an area of your chart that they haven't for quite some time. You're definitely going to want to start paying attention to that now at this full moon in Aries to prepare and to work with it and know exactly how to anticipate this energy playing out for you. Again, something you would do in a one-on-one reading, but just wanted to highlight and preview that for you right here, right now.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Capricorn Risings, this is going to be a pivotal full moon for you because the grand cross in the sky between the sun, the moon, Mars, and Pluto is activating your anchor houses. The most important areas of your chart, your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th house. These are going to be big changes in your life. Your primary life coach, Saturn, is almost done with his retrograde, and he is kind of influencing the moon at this time. So hopefully you've learned those Saturn lessons once and for all. This moon might highlight and illuminate some things when it comes to your home and family. There might be arguments in the family, some massive changes that need to be made based on conversations that are had right now. So lots to navigate for you. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here. We're going to get into it.
My Capricorn risings, looking at this chart, you can see right away we have this grand cross energy impacting your anchor houses, your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. The most important areas of our life are going to be impacted at this full moon in Aries for you. The 1st house is you, yourself, everything about you. 7th house is your relationships, very important to all of us. 4th house is home and family, and 10th house is career. These are huge areas of our life, and a grand cross means that something that happens in one of these areas of your life tumbles and snowballs into the rest. It's a square energy, right? And squares have 4 corners, and we need all 4 corners to keep things balanced. And so the full moon in Aries is highlighting and illuminating your 4th house. There's some change, some releasing, some letting go, a closing of a chapter. Something is coming to fruition in this 4th house. So maybe at this time you're realizing that you need to move home, renovate home. Something is changing within your family unit or your family structure. And this is causing a ripple effect into your partnerships, into your career, into your identity or your dreams or desires that you have. Now, this is kind of nothing new because we've had the North Node here in your 4th house for almost 18 months. There's been some expansion, there's some newness. Maybe you've already moved homes. Maybe there's already been newness in your family, and this full moon is having you course correct and adjust in some way, or it's bringing some emotional intensity, some passion, some fuel into this area of your life so that you can continue expanding and continue to grow in some way. Now, we are in the middle of Libra's sun season. The sun is at 24 degrees of Libra, your 10th house of your career. So it's been 24 days that hopefully you've been shedding and illuminating your energy, your light into your career. Now, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you still have a career. It's what you do, how you're known in the world, the title that you carry. When someone thinks of you, how do they think of you? That's your 10th house space. And we have one more week left of you to infuse some energy here. Maybe you've been spending a lot more time at work recently, right? Now, that can affect your relationships. Mars is going to be in your relationship sector all the way until May of next year. This is a long time. It's not going away anytime soon. There's going to be some massive changes or decisions or new direction that you're needing to take in partnerships in your life. Now, that could be business, romantic, friendship, etc. Anyone that you're fusing your partnership energy with, Mars is helping you change it. And Pluto right now is in this massive final moment of transformation on who you are. I want you to reflect back to 15 years ago. You are nothing like you are now because Pluto has danced its way through your 1st house. And this is the final moment for you to figure out who you want to be in the upcoming chapters of your life. And that might impact what you want, what you need, what you desire, your relationships. Because that person has to accept it for this new way. Now, your primary life coach, Saturn, is about to end his retrograde. We got about 3 weeks left. So making sure that you have improved your communication, that you've changed your mindset, that you have more belief, that you have prayer, that you have gratitude journaling, all that Saturn and Pisces lessons, hopefully you've learned. Saturn is also here about to go into a 2nd square with Jupiter and Gemini. So that is a whole nother topic. Go listen to my Jupiter retrograde video to your rising sign forecast because that is also very pivotal at this time and it's starting kind of now and will culminate in December. Lastly, with this full moon in Aries, I want you to reflect back to what began in your life at that new moon in Aries around home and family. What was coming up at that time? What was being eclipsed in or out of your life in your 4th house? Because now we're coming to a peak illumination where a change or a redirection needs to be had. And the story isn't over yet. We're going to have one more eclipse in your 4th house of home and family, ending this cycle. So there's still a newness coming for you at this time. We're just kind of in the thick of it. Lastly, we see Venus is going to be moving out of your 11th house into your 12th house as soon as this full moon is over. So when the tension, the volatility, the irritation, the change is coming in and coming up, your saving grace is going to be that Venus is moving into your 12th house. This is beautifying your mind, your emotions, and your energetic health. Looking behind the scenes, having new thought patterns, having new ways to process information, cleansing and releasing and purging and detoxing are going to be so beautiful in the next coming weeks. So really focus in on this energy. I'd say the best way that you can work with this is doing honestly, like a juice cleanse or something of that sort to purify your vessel, working with a therapist to purify your mind. The more lighter and freer you can become, the better during this season, as there's a lot of shifts in store for you with Saturn coming out of retrograde. The channeled message I kept getting for you, and even as I'm talking right now, more of this is coming in, is that we need to be looking at how our physical well-being is affecting all the other areas of our life. Why do I say that? Because your first house is your physical body. And Pluto's been here for 15 years and he's in his final moment. And Mars is your energy, your chi, your stamina, and that is connected to other people. So when you're looking at your physical health, your physical well-being, the people you surround yourself with, the information, the music that you're listening to, the beliefs that you carry, the emotions you've suppressed in your body, all of this might be coming up right now for you to process and move through, and making sure that you're prioritizing your overall well-being while all these changes are happening. This grand cross is affecting major areas of your life. So making sure you prioritize your health and wellness is going to be huge at this time. And of course, remember that next year, there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes in these areas of your life. And so it's going to be best for you to do a reading because we have Saturn and Neptune entering your fourth house of home and family. You're going to have Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, and Venus all retrograding in your fourth house. The North Node is leaving your fourth house. There's a lot of stuff going on in this anchor area of your chart. And it's best to prepare ahead of time so you know when to anticipate it and how to work with it and how to maximize your year ahead. So definitely recommend getting on that at the end of the year into early 2025 as there's some major shifts, but just wanted to tap into that to keep you in the loop that this whole story of everything happening at the full moon in Aries is just a piece of the puzzle of the bigger perspective of all the shifts to come. So hopefully that makes sense.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 Astrology Alchemy Journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that Astro Weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Aquarius risings, this is going to be a pivotal full moon for you because the moon is in your third house of your mind. So you are going to be the one that wants to speak up, that wants to express, that might be yelling and screaming and telling people how you feel once and for all. The sun has been dancing through Libra in your ninth house. This is shifting your perspective, highlighting the things that you want to learn and do and expand yourself out into the world. And Mars and Pluto are rocking and rolling you a little bit as well. So lots to talk about. We're going to get into all of it. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here. Let's dive in.
As we tap in my Aquarius risings, let's look at the fact that the sun is in your ninth house. The sun in Libra every single year is asking you to go have some fun, explore, get out of your comfort zones, check things off your bucket list. If there was ever a time a year for you to travel and get out of your little bubble, it's in Libra sun season. So hopefully you've done that. You got 6 more days left. But during Libra sun season, we have the full moon in Aries. This is huge for you because this is a very mental moment for you. This full moon is heated. It is volatile. It is bringing change into your life. And we can see here that the change is being caused by Mars and Pluto squaring the sun and squaring the moon, creating this grand cross energy. And this is a very mentally shifting energy for you. because Pluto is in your 12th house of your subconscious, your limiting beliefs, your self-sabotage, your victimization. Like, how are you your own worst enemy? It is time to break that cycle. It's time to transform it. It's time to let that go, die it off, so that you can rebirth in a better way. The full moon is in your third house of how you speak, what you expose yourself to when it comes to information, how you're learning, who you're learning from, what you've learned in the past, your network, the people that you surround yourself with. How is this affecting your mind? And how is that influencing your perspective of the world and the way which you see the world? And what are these limiting beliefs that you're carrying because of what you're exposing yourself to? I'll give you an example. Let's say you listen to certain podcasts, like crime podcasts, and then you start to think the world, like everyone is a criminal and everyone's out to get you. And then that hurts your mental health. And then because of this mental health, you don't want to travel and you don't want to go to new countries because you're afraid. And then you stay in your own little bubble forever. Right? Like that's kind of how it works with this Grand Cross energy. One thing can spiral into the other areas of your life. Also, Mars is in your 6th house and it's going to be here for 5 to 6 months, like all the way until April of next year. Mars says exert energy, put effort into your 6th house, your health, your wellness, your day-to-day habits, your routines. What makes you feel well? Do you need to get more sleep? Do you need to make those doctor's appointments? Do you need to go to the gym? Do you need to change your supplement routine? Because all of this stuff can also impact your mental health. This full moon in Aries could really be highlighting and bringing some volatility and illumination to the fact, irritating you, creating inflammation in your life, physically in your body, because of what you're thinking and how you are thinking. And sometimes we have to change the physical to change the mental, and sometimes we have to change the mental to change the physical. But there's a direct correlation going on at this time, Aquarius Rising. So make sure you're paying attention to all of that. And a lot of this could be emotionally rooted. So you think a thought, you have an emotional feeling, and then that creates a physical reaction. Or you have an emotional feeling, create a mental feeling, and then that changes your physical body. So these are all things to explore at this time as they're coming up. Now, also, your primary life coaches of Saturn and Uranus are active at this time. Saturn's in your 2nd house of income and money, coming out of retrograde. So Lord Karma is going to be serving you in the upcoming weeks. You have your final moments. I keep bringing that up in the last few readings, making sure you have your money watertight at this time so you don't have to deal with any Saturn lessons, as this mental stuff will still be continuing for the upcoming weeks. And Uranus, who is creating change in your life, is opposite Venus in your relationship sector at this time. So I want you to be cautious and careful in your relationships, that your mental health and your emotional health is not disrupting or causing unnecessary problems in your relationships. Because at this time, Uranus is disrupting some things, causing some changes in your relationships with your finances. And you're here to learn to keep your mindset, your perspective, your faith, your belief, your perspective from a higher conscious state, and not get sucked into those lower vibrations and to sabotage yourself and to lean into victim mentality. So all of this is going to be super important at this time. I think really the channeled message here for you is to stay strong in your body, stay strong in your mind, do things that nourish yourself, that bring pleasure into your life, that feel good, and allowing yourself to always check in with your thoughts. Good time for a journal practice, good time for a meditation practice, good time to write positive affirmations on Post-it notes and put it all around your house. Things like that could be very supportive for you during this wild and volatile, crazy full moon in Aries. Zooming out a little bit, when we get to 2025, you are going to have a lot of energy, a lot of potency in your 3rd house with Neptune and Saturn entering, with the North Node leaving, with a final eclipse there. Like there's a lot to come in 2025. So I highly recommend you get your reading and you start to tap into this energy and to explore it, because there's so much more. We're just in the middle of this story.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly, as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 astrology alchemy journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that astro weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon, wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video. My Pisces risings, your primary life coach Jupiter is now officially retrograde, so things aren't feeling as optimistic. You might not be swimming with the fishes and head in the clouds anymore. It's time to get real. It's time to get serious as Neptune, your other primary life coach, is still retrograde as well. That is going to put a little damper on things for you, but this full moon is going to bring the heat. It is going to highlight and illuminate a lot of things in your life. This is a financial focused full moon for you, so there might be a lot of relationship things that are happening at this time that are affecting your finances. There might be a lot of heated discussions around money as the full moon is active in your second house of income, and the sun has been highlighting your shared assets and shared resources. Mars is helping you make decisions, and Pluto is helping you to transform these things in a massive way. So a lot to talk about here. You grab your birth chart. I'm going to pull up the chart here. Let's get into it.
Pisces risings, let's zoom in. Let's notice here right away is that the sun and the moon during this full moon in Aries are in your financial areas of life. So this is a financial moon for you, no doubt. The sun has already been in Libra in your 8th house for 24 days, hopefully shining a spotlight and illuminating and bringing some energy to your life when it comes to money you have tied to other people. Hopefully you've looked at your debts, your loans, taxes, inheritances, all that paperwork, making sure that you've given it some energy and attention, maybe possibly having conversations with people about money that they owe you, or maybe even how you are connected and tied to your finances when it comes to business or marriage, things like that. Now, in the middle of this season, the sun highlights the full moon in Aries in your income sector, how you make money, how you budget your money, how you invest your money. The full moon in Aries might be illuminating and triggering a release of something in this money area of your life. You might be losing an income stream of sorts. You might be selling an asset. You might have to let go of something in your budget. There's a huge change here in your financial area of life, but this isn't necessarily bad. The North Node is here wanting you to expand and have new opportunities. So there's been some fated differences, some fated changes in your income sector as the North Node has traveled here for almost a year and a half at this point. We still have one more eclipse, so this is very positive for you Pisces risings. One more fated and destined new door opening in your money house, but not for 6 more months. So there has to be some releasing and letting go, clearing the runway of sorts for a new possession or a new income stream. So for example, let's say you have 5 income streams or you have all these little side hustles and you're like, you know what, I got to let these go. They're not bringing in as much money as I would like. I would like to have one job that brings me a whole lot of money. So I need to let go of these. And you can't just drop your clients tomorrow. So you spend the next 6 months clearing your schedule and letting go of clients and letting contracts end. And then at that new moon and eclipse in 6 months, you're able to take on a new stream of income that blows all of what you're making right now out of the water. That is a possibility. Or you could be editing your budget and letting go of some things in your budget to clear space, and then you save money for the next 6 months, and then you acquire a new asset or resource of some sort. Or maybe you sell something right now and you take that money and you invest it, and that allows you to retire. You know, there's a lot of money stuff coming up, and there might be really, really tough decisions. Full moons in Aries are inflammatory, are irritable. They bring heat, they bring passion, they bring intensity. And so right now, emotions could be running high, especially around money. And of course, we see Mars and Pluto squaring this energy. So Mars says make changes. Pluto says destroy and rebirth and transform in some massive way. And this is really correlated to children, Mars in your 5th house, and friends, Pluto in your 11th. So you might be having to make some massive changes in the people that you surround yourself with because they don't allow you to grow and expand in your finances, or they're hurting your finances. Or even your future looks different. What you want, what you dream, what you aspire to have is different. And so now you need to make some monetary changes and decisions in your life that course correct for the future that you want. This could be you investing money in something so that you can have an early retirement. Or maybe you are needing to spend some money on your children's college fund. So it's changing the way in which you need to budget. So there might be some stuff coming up here as well. Now, remember, Mars is going to be in your fifth house of fun, of joy, of romance, of creativity, of entrepreneurship, of passion projects for quite some time. So, there's some things that need to be changing here, some new decisions that need to be made that are going to impact you financially in some massive way. You could be investing your energy right now into a creative passion project. And so you're having to budget your money tighter than ever until you're finished with this creative passion project. And it might take some time because Mars is going to retrograde here. But when you do launch it in 6 months and the new moon in Aries, that could bring in a massive income stream for you. So that's something super powerful to look at. Now, let's quickly wrap up with your primary life coaches. We got Jupiter retrograde now in your fourth house of home and family. So, making sure that you just nourish and spend time with your family in your home, creating a sanctuary in your home, retreating, nurturing yourself is going to be super important. And Neptune and Saturn still in your first house. I mean, we've talked so much about that in other videos. So, you can go listen to the Neptune retrograde video or the October forecast to get more details on that. And of course, we see that Venus here, as soon as this full moon is over, is going to be the saving grace because she is going to move into your 10th house, magnetizing, attracting, bringing in abundance to your career area of life. So making you more seen and praised and recognized in your career, in your job, might lead to a raise, might lead to more clients, might lead to job offers coming out of nowhere. So we love Venus in the 10th house as she beautifies the career space of your life. But remember, there is the financial full moon coming in hot. So pay attention to all that. The channeled message that keeps coming up is when it comes to this full moon, it is fueled by emotions and intuition. Mars is in Cancer, the moon's home sign. The moon is in Cancer. The moon is in Aries, sorry, Mars is home sign. So there's a huge emotional component to what's going on here. So don't neglect your emotions. Don't forget that you feel the way you feel for a reason, and that those feelings can help dictate the way in which you should make moves or where in which you should exert your energy and how you should exert your energy. So much more to that. Of course, make sure that you understand this Mars in Cancer energy. It's not going away anytime soon. We talked so much about that in the Astro Forecast Telegram channel. We had a whole education day about Mars and Cancer and how that fluctuates our energy levels every 2 to 3 days as the moon moves into a new zodiac sign. Something for you Pisces risings, being super intuitive and feels of all the things going on in the world and in the universe, that you might really want to get into that education. So if you haven't yet or want to know more about that and how to work with Mars and Cancer energy, you can get into our Astro Telegram channel for free for 7 days and go listen to that workshop. They're all archived, but that would really, really benefit you at this time, especially with Mars squaring the new or the full moon and opposite Pluto for the upcoming weeks. So with all that, I hope that resonated. Don't forget, next year there is going to be a lot of change, a lot of energy come into your financial area of life with Saturn and Neptune entering your second house. And then we're going to have Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, and Venus all retrograding from your income sector to your first house, along with the North Node leaving your income sector. So lots of money changes, lots coming up in 2025. So make sure you get a reading, make sure you understand how to work with that energy, because you can literally rebirth and take your income sector to a whole new level next year if you play your cards right. You have that possibility based on the astrology for 2025.
So I hope this message resonated with you. I gave you a little bit of a channeled message as well as it came through. That's the thing I love about astrology. When I look at someone's chart, it's not only the information I'm seeing in the chart, where Mars is, where the moon is, etc. I also get channeled messages, which makes my readings super unique. And I love doing one-on-one sessions. So if you're curious and interested what 2025 has in store for you, I'd be honored to do a reading for you. You can find the link in the description box below. My slots are filling up pretty quickly as I'm not doing any readings after December 24th. I will be on vacation all the way until January 20th. So readings will pick back up again at the end of January. So I'd be honored to dive in with you one-on-one. And of course, if you have your 2025 astrology alchemy journal by then, make sure you bring it to the reading. I will help you fill it out. We will customize it. We will take notes in it. So when that astro weather event happens in the upcoming year, you have notes from your readings as well. And they're all recorded. So you're going to go back and listen to them over and over again throughout 2025. So sending you so much love and light as you're navigating this full moon. Wishing you the best, and we'll be back to talk in the next video.